Hello everyone, my name is Oksana. It's road to Edoverse Weekly Edoverse Insider the 73rd. We deliver the news about the creation of our project Edoverse. And as usual, Tokugawa-san, could you please open the session today?
Yes. Okay, so the fourth and the final. Oh no, thank you, Oksana, and hello everybody. This is Eihiro Tokugawa speaking, and this is the fourth and the final take on kabuki. Now, you see, kabuki is more or less, well, when people talk about Edo or Tokugawa Japan, immediately kabuki comes into mind, because it hasn't changed. It has barely changed since Edo times. And then also all the families that were all the descendants of the actors who were performing in Edo are still performing kabuki. And most of the scripts were written 300 years ago, 200 years ago. So it is like a time capsule of Edo culture. But it doesn't mean that there have been change over the centuries. So the original center of kabuki, or well, theater in general, was naturally in Kyoto and Osaka, which were the metropolises in what's the plural for metropolis in early Tokugawa times. But gradually, the center shifted to Edo with its growth in population, increased wealth, and cultural sophistication. And by the beginning of the 19th century, which happens to be the time in the period in which Japan started to generate trade surplus against China. See, with the rest of the world, we were always in the black, but with China, because of ginseng, okay, and that was the largest import item. So in the early 19th century, some daimyo managed to raise ginseng in their own fiefdoms. So, and with that, the trade conditions improved dramatically. And that coincides with the completion of Edo culture. So this is when all the famous names like Hiroshige or Tsuruya Namboku, or and then the famous works Tokaido, Chuhizakurige, all of these come from this period, early 19th century. So when Europe was in a revolutionary turmoil and then the Napoleonic Wars, Tokugawa Japan reached its peak in terms of its culture and wealth. So, and that is when Edo also had become the center of kabuki. See, the center had moved from Kyoto and Osaka to Edo, and then from there it goes on until today. But now, and then about 30 years after that, you see, there was the Opium War. And the Opium War meant the end of Chinese dominance in East Asia. And you see, the whole premise of Tokugawa Japan was that there is this very large market and a very powerful political entity in the shape of the Qing dynasty. And it's, well, it was certainly the biggest economy and the biggest country in terms of population. So the Manchu who ruled the Qing Empire were a very martial clan, martial ethnic, well, a martial tribe. So everyone assumed that they also had the mightiest military, and then they were beaten by the British with only 5 or 6 gunships, steamships. So that shocked the Japanese side. And then in the early 1840s, there were a very draconian reform regime was created. So these are the tempo reforms. And some of the reforms made sense as the prime minister at the time, Mizuno Tadakuni, tried to centralize Japan. And then, but this was beaten by all the daimyo who stood up against him. So the reform went nowhere. But Mizuno also tried to reawaken the martial spirit of the Japanese, especially the Tokugawa samurai, okay, who were indulging themselves with all kinds of luxury and entertainment in the big city of Edo. So what Mizuno and his men did was to rein in the theater scene in Edo. And for one thing, all the kabuki theaters were moved from the center of Edo to where it is Daikanyama today, near Shibuya. And to be sure, Shibuya is one of the centers of Tokyo, and its scenery may be among the most famous worldwide as representative of the Tokyo landscape. But it was outside traditional Edo. It was just an agricultural village. So the actors and the theaters were again pushed out of the Edo center. Okay, and there were only 3 theaters that can operate. So they could not shut down the theater scene completely, but they tried to control it and then reduce them in scale so that the samurai and ordinary Edo citizens, commoners, would be working hard in what they're supposed to do. But by then, what people of Edo did was basically work a bit and then enjoy a lot. So Mizuno, Prime Minister Mizuno, lost power shortly, and the theater scene became even more vigorous. So at one stage, there were only 3 theaters, but in a couple of years, there were more than 700 theaters all over Edo. So this is quite, it does sound strange. And from there, well, it's only 25 years to the Meiji Restoration. And so the Tokugawa lost power, and the men from the Western Japan, marched into Edo. But the kabuki theaters kept performing. Not one day of rest. And they didn't change until in the 5th year of the restoration, the new government of Meiji demanded that all the theaters perform things that are worthy of the audienceship. Would that be the word? Well, will be worthy of noble and Western audience. So until then, you see, the Tokugawa shogunate demanded that all the actors perform what is basically fiction and fantasy, because they're not supposed to touch on the realities of Tokugawa Japan. But for some reason, the new Meiji government demanded that all theaters should be about actual facts. You see, so this can tell how inexperienced these new officials were about cultural affairs, but that's what they did anyway. And then immediately, the well-educated, mostly of samurai stock, and probably were not a particularly fun bunch. And certain Westerners must have welcomed this, but that was not enough of a viewership to sustain the theater scene in Edo, which had now become Tokyo. And so as a result, kabuki gradually came back to what it is right now. So no different from Edo times, performing the same old scripts, and plus some new things. And as it is today, it is a relic of Edo culture. And okay, and one additional fact about how important and how popular kabuki theater was in Edo is that some of the actors would make 1,000 ryo, that is koban, a year. And how much would that be in today's currency values? So think of 1 ryo, 1 koban, as $1,000. So there were millionaire actors, and not only one, but several of them. And that's how much money that theater was generating in Tokugawa Japan. I think this was the same in Paris under Napoleon III, or Victorian London. Okay, so show business was, as it is today, very big. But at the same time, the actors could not receive social respect. Their standing in society was very low, as they're really, at least in the eyes of, according to the standards of feudal philosophy, that they were creating nothing. See? So when people are supposed to be hardworking, just entertaining people is not considered as work. Okay, so they were way below were they much lower than samurai, but probably below the peasantry. So, and they were always treated with some contempt as outcasts of some sort. Okay, but with the Meiji Restoration, they were recognized as ordinary citizens, and then, so the first time they paid taxes to the government, one very famous actor, I think, was Kawarazaki. Dressed up formally and went with his entire family just to pay taxes. So that was a very honorable thing. It meant that they were, in a sense, emancipated from their discriminated positions standing in society. Okay, and so so Tokugawa Japan disappeared, but Kabuki survives to this day, and there is history there as well. Okay, so that'll be enough for this week, and thank you very much, and see you next week.
Thank you very much, Tokugawa-san. It's very fascinating, like the power of art and entertainment, right? Yes, thank you very much. And JJ, could you please join us? Well,
Hi, Oksana. Hello. Hello, everybody. Yeah, it was so interesting story from Tokugawa-san. I think it's a time for the actor to generate the cash and generate the profit based on Edoverse, so that maybe we can recreate the culture of Edo. Definitely, yeah, it's so fascinating and interesting. By the way, I'd like to announce that finally we could, launch the alpha version of Edoverse to lands holder in a limited, time. And then deeply apologize for being inconvenience for some holders couldn't access to the Edoverse alpha version because of the AWS server limitation. Because we haven't tested on the mainnet stage and real environment based on AWS, so we didn't check that there is some kind of limitation for the holders to receive the email from the server side. So please be assured that this error is not related with blockchain side, not related with security side. We are super fine for that, but AWS side there was the limitation. So yeah, I apologize for being inconvenienced anyway. And then some of the users and some of the holders who entered into our space, gave us some nice tweet saying that they were super happy to see the real avatars and the real space, and they found some Shinwa Wise logo here, and then the Konishiki-san logo here, and then looks like they are waiting for some new updates and then new mini games and then new commercialization. So definitely Kabuki coming to Edoverse space, so that maybe Acta is gonna be nice cash generator anyway. So we are ready to start our play to earn system and then blockchain system Web3. So we already are in second half, right? Almost we have 5 months and a half. We will implement three types, maybe 3 to 4 or around of mini games to be implemented on our space, so that maybe the people can enjoy our space as well. And then we are looking forward to providing all of the spaces to all of the users quite soon. Yeah, that's enough from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, JJ. Amazing news. And Shunta, do you have any news for us today?
Thank you, Oksana. Hello, everyone. First of all, we apologize for the confusion caused by the release date issue. But our technical team promptly recovered the problem, and it has already been completely resolved. We have received numerous responses from the Edoverse community who have already accessed the Edoverse space, and as well as from those who are still unable to access it. It appears that many of you have been trying it out on various devices such as iPhones, iPads, and more, but for now it is only playable on PCs. We are working toward making it available for multi-device play in the future. Please looking forward to the upcoming Edoverse experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shunta. And Dominique, could you please sum up today's session? Hello.
Hi, everybody. Thank you everybody. Alpha version actually launched, and land holders actually really enjoying things. But of course, the AWS problem, I think Gigi mentioned that they have some problem, but it's going to be solved much. And then and now and also the people actually enjoying the Fortnite, the promotional game. Actually, this is not a play to earn game, but now we are developing the play to earn that you can just earn in the future, very near future. So we're just launching them 3 or 4 basic and very simple games that DJ mentioned. I'm really looking forward. And also, we're now finalizing all the documentation of the Tokugawa hidden treasure hunter. Okay, find the Tokugawa hidden treasures. We're just having a meeting, and we should just put in just where just Mr. Tokugawa is now hide. his treasure. And also that I found just from the story that the one koban was that more than $1,000 was. It's a really big number. So you may have a koban just and send your back NFTs. So when you just find the Tokugawa hidden treasure, I hope that you can just enjoy the Edo Bars just until that the real games is coming up. So please just wait for it and enjoy alpha version. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dominique, and thank you everybody for speaking today and everybody for listening. We will meet next week. Goodbye.